Please bear with me while I set this thing up. We'll be with you shortly. All right. Yeah. All right. Hey, how you doing, mate? Yes, it's another day here in lovely Melbourne. Actually, doesn't look too bad out there. Uh, spent all night bloody trying to figure out this pattern, and then I just passed out for like probably the longest sleep I've had in a long time. And then I think I've figured out what's going on. And yeah, the clues came in the morning after I had spent all that time messing about last night. Sometimes you just got to leave the chart alone because it'll just drive you bonkers. So just go to the control room. Got the cup of coffee going there. All right. Okay. So first of all, thank you for joining. Now, there's a lot of. Last night I put out an update, basically just telling you to be careful with your emotions, right? Because your emotional trading can definitely send you astray, right? And so far we've seen that type of price action happen where it's very possible that can happen. You buy the dip and you get impatient and then you have to sell. Panic sell, right? So that's the beauty of wave 3. It's all panic selling. Okay, so I understand the psychology behind it. Obviously, Arius Wave understands the psychology behind it. But the funny thing is that it's all just right in front of you, right? You are making the pattern and you are the one who is part of that crowd. A lot of the people are part of that crowd. Even those who think they're not part of that crowd are part of the crowd, right? Now, all I did last night was basically absolutely nothing, right? I just try to figure this, trying to work out what is wrong with this pattern. Why is it doing what it's doing? It definitely hasn't made a new low yet, but it doesn't look like it's going down yet. So I'm thinking it's probably going to do something. Just let it do what it's going to do, and then come back the next morning and then try to work it out, right? So I think that's the most important point here. So yeah, that's why I keep saying I'm not buying until we hit 27 cents, right? I'm not buying until then. I'm very firm on that, right? When you've been through so much crap and you've learned and you've created your own methodology, you refuse to let yourself. You just can't let yourself buy unless the requirements have been met and you fully accept that you understand that what you are looking at is complete and final, right? Now, last night I knew that what I was looking at was not complete and final, even though I couldn't quite see it then. Now it's starting to make sense because, it's waves can be very difficult to determine. And there's all sorts of degrees going on, right? So you've got a larger degree, and then you've got the smaller degree waves inside there, and then you've got even smaller degree waves inside there. So when you're dealing at the 5-minute chart level, right, which is part of the 15-minute chart level, which is part of the hourly, which is part of the 4-hour, which is part of the daily, right, which is part of the weekly, which is part of the monthly. It's all fractal. It's just you zoomed in trying to make money or trying to pinpoint the exact location where you are going to get in, right? Because we because we take that approach because obviously you want to buy low and sell high, right? And you want to understand why you're doing it. You don't want to just do it. You don't want to just say that, but you don't really understand the mechanics or why you're doing it. You're just saying that because you're hoping that you buy it cheap and then you can sell it for a profit, because isn't that the whole point, right? Obviously. Okay. So let me share my chart here now. All right. So what it looks like to me is, since we completed wave E, wave 4, right? We've seen a wave 1. Okay. Wave 1. That's it. That's all we've seen. And then we had a bounce, right, which come back to the 0.618 area and then got fully rejected. Okay. So that to me tells me we had a sharp correction, right? A, B, C, D, E, all in one, bang, right? Now, sometimes this happens, right? This is not very often that you see this type of pattern. But to me, what it does show is strength in the market, right? Because you're barely making a wave 1 down. It's choppy as hell, right? And then your wave 2 is kind of like, okay, I want to go. It's got so many people who want to buy into it. But then the pattern itself, which is based on the collective, like the masses, is like, no. And then I don't know, like people, I don't know what the masses base their their buying ideas from, right? Many sources, but for whatever reason they were wrong, and now we're going back down, and the wave is sharper than wave 1. So to me, this looks like wave 3. Okay. Now I highly doubt that this is anything else apart from that. And the reason is because we don't have to go that low to hit our target, right? Which is a new low, which is 27 cents, the red line. Okay. So because of that buying pressure, right, instead of this being what I thought it might have been beginning to be, or almost ending up being, which was a type 1 ending diagonal, I believe this is going to be a type 2 ending diagonal, which is just a little bit different. You still have your 5 waves, right? Down, normal, 5 waves down, sharp correction, and then a normal 5 waves down, right? As long, probably just the same, potentially the same length as the first wave, but sharper, right? That's a clue that it's wave 3. And then you'll get your bounce, right? Now, we don't know where that bounce will happen, right? This because like if you take the length of wave 1, right? And then you make it, you basically you need to have wave 3 be longer than that. So how can I measure that here quickly? One sec. I just use this special trick. I go from top to bottom. And let's just change this color for a sec. Let's make it white. One second, bear with me for a sec. I'm just doing something that is, it's like measuring using certain parts of the chart. Okay. So now we take a line and we put it to the end of that wave there. All right. Call that a stop. Make it red. Then you take that there. Actually, how far was it? No, it was from the bottom. It was the length from there to the middle. So we're going from the middle to the bottom. Okay. So it has to be a minimum. Wave 3 has to hit minimum that white line down the bottom there. Okay. And that's not even 27 cents yet. Right. So this is interesting. Okay. This is very interesting. So just give me a sec. We don't need these anymore. Oops. I need this, I don't need that. Okay. So basically, potentially what could happen, right, is that what we could see is a situation where wave 3 breaks the low, right? Breaks the low like that, and then comes back, jumps back up above, right? Now this is illustration purposes only, right? If I was to be a little bit more accurate with my illustration purposes only scenario, you might see some price action around this area. And then you'd have your wave 5. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be an ending diagonal. That'll just be a straight 5 where basically if wave 1 and 3 are similar in length, wave 5 will tend to be the shortest. So that technically isn't an ending diagonal if this situation unfolds. It'd just be a straight 5 wave move that basically just looks like that. Right. Now that's just looking at it from a 15-minute perspective, right? So if you zoom out, that doesn't mean anything to anyone, right? We're just trying to achieve a new low. We're trying to buy at 27 cents, right? So it's going to bounce around this area for sure, because you got to understand that there's going to be a lot of stops will be hit around this area, right? A lot of people who went long right? They thought this was wave one up or something. Now, let me just go to the live chat for a sec. Welcome, G Money Beers. Do I think we're hitting $55? Where have you been? I've been saying 160 for a while now. 55 was like an old target. But like I said, we have to wait until the B wave completes before we get exact target. If we manage to break all-time highs and retest and end the B wave, yes, 160. If the E wave comes down lower, then we have to, just adjust the target accordingly, right? So this is something that's in progress, right? I tell you these targets based on potential outcomes, right? Now, unless you pay attention to my ideas ongoingly, then these sort of questions, they're kind of like, sounds like you missed out on a few videos. So maybe you need to catch up a little bit. Welcome, Kabeng Tan. Hi, how you doing? Welcome, Carlos Arias, same surname. I'm sure you're an Arias Wave fan there, being an Arias yourself. Okay, so basically, why would this bounce around this area a bit? Okay. And that's going to be basically the stops being hit, right? From the margin traders or whatever, right? These people who thought this was a wave one, right? Let's just pretend this was wave one up, right? Because people they don't know jack about waves. Most people don't. So let's say they take their special Fibonacci tool of choice, and they measure and they go, okay, yes, we had a point 786, and then they bounced, right? And then they got wrecked. Right. First of all, would have happened up here, right? First of all, it would have happened up here, wave one, 0.618. Yes, we're going to the moon. Absolutely got wrecked, right? Stopped out as well. Well, not stopped out, but if you put your stop down here and then try to move it up at some point, yeah, you got wrecked. But if your stop is still down here and you're still trying to go long from here, you're feeling the pain, right? So basically, this would have come back down, right, and hit the 0.786, and then it caused it to bounce again. Once again, the margin traders would have put a stop at the lows. So there's probably all these stop losses at the low, and then you came back down again, and then you hit another level, which is close to, hang on, let me just quickly. Yeah, sort of close to the 0.886, sort of that's another sort of important level where people would have gone long yet again, thinking, oh, they've caught the bottom. They're going to get even luckier this time. And how many times did they get wrecked? How many times do they need to get wrecked before they learn the waves? This is the part that I enjoy the most because it's true. I used to do it myself when I first started, right? The thing is, you shouldn't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. Isn't that the definition of what? Insanity? Yeah, welcome, Adrian. Yeah, 160. That's right. And most people won't make that because they won't believe it. Okay. And they don't know the waves. So how can you potentially make anything if you don't know what you're doing? Right. You have to be a part of the program. You have to be a part of the, you got to be in the know. You got to know that also there's going to be a big, massive crash coming after that happens, right? And then we go back to the whole market cap conversation, right? Market cap is absolute garbage. Go to my website, rswave.com, and you'll see a big green link there that tells you all about the fallacy of market cap, right? I don't have time for that here. All right. What do I think? G'day, Ray. What do I think of end of year price? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. Right. I just follow the waves. Let's say, okay, let me finish this off first, and I'll get to that sort of thinking in just a sec, right? So you're gonna get the price come back down and hit the low, right? Which is what we're expecting, obviously. That's the whole point of what we're doing here, right? So this is going to bounce around here, up and down, due in part due to the stops being hit, right? So what is a stop? Is that basically, you know, there's a lot of buying and selling going on at the same time. You know, stops getting hit, right? So they have to rebuy or resell depending on what they're trying to do, right? There's going to be a lot of price action around here that's probably going to cause wave 4 to occur, right? So you got your wave 1, you got your wave 2, you have your wave 3. Sorry, just excuse me for a sec. Right. So you'll have your wave 3, your wave 4, and then your wave 5 finally. Now, obviously I've made these pretty big, so they're visible, but this is going to be the end of wave 5. Forget about that V there. It's not important. I think we can make these a bit smaller now. I think you're beginning to understand what I'm talking about here. Okay, so that's why also patience is just the most important thing, right? Like, I know we all want to just jump in, but imagine how many people already jumped in and got wrecked. It doesn't end, right? The story doesn't end until, you know, it's not over until the last wave is over, right? And if you don't know what, based on any kind of methodology, what that last wave is, then you're just basically part of the crowd, okay? So I have never said buy XLM unless you're a long-term holder and you don't care about exact levels. That's fine. You can buy XLM anytime because it's still cheap compared to where it's going, right? But I have never said to those who want to get in cheap, absolute cheapest level, I have said always buy at 27 cents because that's it has to make that new low. It has to by law. All right, so I'm going to answer questions in this particular order. Okay. So Jeffrey, welcome, Jeffrey. RES Wave, I created RES Wave over 6 years. It's been now about 8 years in total, 6, 7, 8 years in total, including the trading view side, because 6 years before I created the trading view, and now it's been about a year and a half roughly with the trading view, putting everything into practice, getting it wrong a million times, but then finally getting so used to my own program, right? Because I'm basically like, the back testing was done over the 6 years, right? But basically actually putting myself out there, right? Letting myself get wrecked a few times and then sort of finding my way. If you check out the bullish series on my website, you'll see what happened. There was a turning point when everything sort of started to come together, right? So anything previous to that was me sort of getting, you know, getting my hands dirty, getting my feet wet. I don't know how you want to put it, right? Just getting into it, right? And being public about everything I say, letting people, try to troll me, try to judge me, tell me I'm wrong. Like there was a lot of ideas where I was spot on. And then there was a lot of ideas where I was like, wrong. I was wrong. So it's very hard to put yourself in a public space and then having to, get to a point where you're actually, you're doing well, and then people are still trying to say shit about you, and it's really got nothing to do with them. It's all about the program. It's all about learning the waves. Like people just need to get over certain things because really it's irrelevant. I'm not trying to make friends here, although I do become friends with a lot of my members because they are great people. For some reason, I'm blessed that really good people have joined. That's the way that's basically how I want to keep it. So the rest is all, but it doesn't mean anything to me. So yeah, you won't find Arius Wave anywhere else except ariuswave.com. So. Oh yeah, and also the way that I label the waves is actually it's geared towards the members, because the people who are members and paid members, they have access to the members page, and it has the theory behind it. It has the patterns behind it, and the patterns are color coded the same way that you see on these charts, except it's basically giving you the full pattern in detail, explaining every variance of every pattern. And also you can basically compare notes. You need to have, I'd advise you to have at least two monitors. Well, two monitors is enough. So you can have one open on one screen and you're trading me on the other screen, and basically, try to process this stuff because it takes a long time to get it through. But once you start to get it through and you watch my videos, compare notes with yours, that's when things get interesting, right? Because that's when you have that backup, you have that mentor, you have that person who's who's sort of trying to guide you through it all and helping you see, using, because obviously I would be the best at this at the moment, right? But in the future, you might be better than me. That's why I say we compare notes, etc. Okay, so the next question I want to answer, right, is the question of when. A lot of people go, when, what price will it be at the end of the year? Well, come on, we haven't even seen Wave C completed yet, right? So let's take this one step at a time, right? I think that's important. Will it break all-time highs by the end of the year? I wouldn't be surprised. If we see Wave D explode to the upside as soon as this thing's done, it might happen way before then. And look, I don't want to get caught up in that conversation right now because we need to progress one wave at a time. In terms of when do I think the last wave down here will happen? Well, if we're in a wave 3 right now, that's typically the sharpest wave. So if you look at the first wave, right, let's just go, let's just make this a bit bigger. Okay, so if this is wave 1, right? Right, how long did that take? That took roughly 2 days, right? Roughly 2 days. Okay, wave 2 took roughly, hang on. Wave 2 took roughly like 14 hours. So it was a really sharp wave 2, right? Now this thing's still moving down, right? So if wave 1 took 2 days and wave 3 is the sharpest, then obviously it's going to, wave 3 is going to take less than 2 days. So it might take a whole day to complete, right? So we might see this thing break below 20 or hit our 27-cent target within the next few hours, potentially. It could be the next like 4 to 5 hours, up to 12 hours maybe. But I don't think it'll take much longer than that, because it's wave 3, remember? Wave 3 is the sharpest move, right? So it's not going to take long, right? It's just that we need to see it happen. And then we have confirmation that yes, C wave is complete, right? The C wave pattern since the top, which I'll quickly go back up, go and show you the top, right? So this is a B wave. Now this technically we use orange as a B wave, but because this whole thing is D wave, I tend to sometimes make just to not confuse certain people. But anyway, who cares? So this C wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It needs to hit that low, and then it's going to start moving up in wave D, right? So overall, right? Overall, as I've mentioned many times before, this is probably not the best chart to show you because it's just a little bit messy, right? So I use STR USDT chart to try illustrate the long-term pattern. Okay, to those who don't know. So basically we're in a long-term D wave. Okay. However, we are only within wave B. We haven't seen the end of wave B yet. So we've seen like A, B, C, which is the current dip. We're going to see a D to break all-time highs. And we're going to see an E, which hopefully just retests the all-time highs. And then from that point, you can measure up the same length as wave A in brackets will be the same length for wave C, okay, which will be basically the peak of the D wave, which in this case will be the largest part of the correction. The same thing that's going on in the Dow Jones. The D wave is the largest wave. And isn't it a funny coincidence that the Dow Jones is in a D wave and so is this particular coin? Well, I don't believe in coincidences, but I do think that there is something far more interesting coming later on once we take profit on that one. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out once we get there. So let's just take it one step at a time. But if you want a little bit of an overview, if you're new to RES Wave, that's what we see happening. And that's just a bit of insight there for you. Right. So back to the live chat. And am hodling XLM. Go ahead. Look, what's the difference between 27 cents and 31 cents, right? To some people, it's important. To some people, it's about the principle that we need to complete this pattern first because they want to be, more, they want to be accurate with their analysis, like me, obviously, because, I'm just obsessed with waves, obsessed with knowing exactly how things work. My background is in IT and, to me, I taught myself computers from a very young age, before basically even, I even finished high school. Just was super curious. I've always been super curious about how things work. I think there's this story my mum always tells me, right? When I was like 2 years old, they bought me like this little steam train, right? And this steam train was like putting out this smoke, right? And then one day they found me ripping the thing open, trying to figure out where the steam was coming from, right? So she always says I was always being very curious. So it's pretty funny, right? But yeah. So it doesn't matter where you start hodling. At least you know that this is going up, right? Don't have any fear. RES Wave is here, to sort of keep you updated. How you doing, Exit here? Good to see you. Hi, Adrian. I am the new XLM Wave King. This needs to be only a XLM channel. Well, yeah, I've been covering that the most lately, yes, because we need to complete our objective mission here. All right. And once we do, then I'll sort of go back to making sure we understand what's happening with a lot of the very key markets, especially the ones that I talk about in the bullish series, just so we can sort of, understand how everything is sort of tracking towards our main objective. And when things are going to start to get really shaky. So there's going to come that point in time where we need to do that. But yeah, thanks for the compliment anyway. I don't really know who else does XLM videos. I don't really follow anybody. I respect a few people who like my work, and there's a bit of like reciprocation there. But typically I don't. It doesn't interest me to look at anybody else's work, because it doesn't mean anything to me. Hello, Micro S. Glad you caught it too. New sub. Thank you. Jeffrey, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, sure. If you want to be a member, just go to the website, go to the learn page, just follow the details there. You need to be determined, you need to have the passion, you need to have the time. Whenever you're bored, instead of watching TV or playing some game, right? You could actually just learn how the waves work. So, that offer is until the end of June, half price, and pay in XLM because that's my coin of choice. And you also get my full support, right? We have Zoom, like I advertise one Zoom meeting, but we just have Zoom meetings whenever I have time, we'll just connect. Yeah. Well, we all get wrecked when we don't know the waves, and that's the problem. That's why when I first started actually putting money into the markets in 2015, around that time. I mean, I had the choice to buy Bitcoin. I decided not to, based on the fact that I didn't know the waves. So even if I thought, okay, well, how do I know this is going to go down? All right, this could go up. Yeah, sure, it could go up, but how do you know when you get out? Right? What's that going to do to you emotionally? When you make money, then you lose it because you don't know what you're doing. Right? And I also thought, based on like when I started like margin trading, right? I started to realize that you start to think differently when you're in a trade, right? It's almost like you block everything else out, right? Because you're in this zone where you have to make this money, you have to be right. You can't, you put too much on the line, you're over leveraged, you feel that stress, and it literally takes your mind completely away from actually learning the waves and stuff like that. So to me, it's like I had to go through all that pain. And during that, throwing all that money at the market and losing, I kept learning something new until I eventually just started focusing mainly on the waves and how they work and trying to figure out what am I seeing, right? I literally draw on paper the pattern that I was seeing, right? I actually have copies of this stuff, literally the what I thought I was seeing. I used to make like bull and bear diagrams in my mind. What was I seeing? I was seeing some kind of pattern until eventually one day I went for a nap, and this little question I asked myself, something gave me the answer, and it just threw it right back at me. And I started going crazy with figuring it out, back testing it. hasn't failed me since. It's actually been a cool, very cool, fun journey. So I recommend learning the waves because it'll remove all that stress that you have from when you put on a trade, right? Because when you put on a trade, you're going to see this thing go up, go down, go up, go down, go up, go down, right? And if you get into early, right, you have to deal with the down part, right? So if you want to protect yourself, right, from that pain of it going down, well, number one, you need to learn the waves, right? Number two, you need to be patient, right? Because if you get in too early, even though you realize that it's going to go to 27 cents or whatever, but you get in early because you see it go up, that's an emotional response, right? And then you're going to have to deal with the pain because you still know in the back of your mind it has to go to 27 cents. You have to deal with that pain of knowing that it's going to go down. And then that takes your attention away from other things that you could be doing because you're going to be worried about, that. And that's sort of that's the psychology side, which I do also cover in my program because yeah, there's a whole bunch of factors that come into this thing. So yeah, XLM, big look. The interesting thing I find about XLM and XRP and stuff like that is that they're going to crash when everything else crashes. Cryptos are going to crash as well, right? Now, if you're talking about a coin that is going to be used by banks, institutional cross-border payments, right? Well, obviously that's somehow linked to banks and institutions. So if something goes wrong in the economy, of course these coins are going to crash because they're all kind of they're going to be one and the same in the future, right? So they're kind of correlated, right? And that's why I see it important to make sure that you learn the waves, but you look at the bullish series, right? And you look at my videos and you make sure you try and understand why I'm saying what I'm saying, even if I'm wrong. Maybe you could have come up with a better interpretation. And that's why I encourage you to be better than me. Be better than me. That's the whole point. I don't think I'm the best. I think someone will learn Arius Wave and they'll be better than me at it. No, I don't doubt that one bit. Well, Robin Hood, yeah. See, it's an interesting time right now when you get a D wave, which is basically the reaction to the C wave. What can cause such a bubble? This is basically the same wave that happened right before the GFC, right? All that crazy speculation and this is part of what we're doing now here is part of that same thing, except we're doing it in a way where we understand that it's a bubble, right? This is a bear market rally, right? We know that because if you follow me, you'll understand that, right? This is not a real bull market. Okay, when the real bull market starts, trust me, you'll know about it. I'll be saying bull, 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 bull. Everything will be. I'm not talking about BS, right? But right, this is all speculation and hype and mania, right? So Robin Hood was part of that. It made it easy for more people, especially with this stimmy checks, to just gamble. It's a casino. Let's just all treat the markets like a casino, and that's why this is a bear market, right? For some reason, that's just the way it works. Like that's why there's that saying: buy when there's panic, and sell when there's hysteria. You know, buy when there's blood on the streets. Same as Warren Buffett says: buy when everyone's fearful, sell when everyone's greedy. And there's going to be a time when this correction completely ends, and everybody who basically would have sold, there's going to be the smart few who go in and buy, and that's what we want to be a part of, right? So we have to be exact with where we're going and how we get there by understanding these waves, right? Otherwise, you ain't going to be a part of the next massive bull run that's coming in the future after the so-called Great Reset, the Great Reset, right? If you don't know what that is, just visit the World Economic Forum's website and they tell you plain straight to your face, like most of these people do, right? They don't keep secrets from you. They try to tell you what they're going to do to you, except most people just ignore it. They think, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. That's like watching that show that, you know, you're just a conspiracy theorist, blah, blah, blah. But they literally tell you to your face. So it's like, okay, so I'm a conspiracy theorist, but they're telling you to your face. Okay, fair enough. So exactly, buy the rumor, sell the hype. I mean, back in 2017, right? My mother, she told me, hey, this person made this much money on Bitcoin and they made so much money they were able like to buy a car. I'm like, hang on a minute. Did you just tell me something about Bitcoin? You don't know anything about Bitcoin, right? Right. Not too long after that, it crashed. Right. That was the top. She literally, right. People literally, they just, it's so interesting, right? It's like the shoe shine boy theory, right? The shoe shine boy back. That there's a, you know, if you don't know what that is, the shoe shine boy back in like early 1900s, or maybe like I think it was even before the Great Depression. Shoe shine boys giving stock advice to the you know the Wall Street trader or investor, whatever. He's the shoe shine boys giving him stock advice, and it's like, oh boy, that's a sell signal. Get out of the market, you know. And it's the same thing. Like, you know, when most people are basically into it is when you shouldn't be. So, hey CC, what's up, brother? How you doing? Hey Nathan, welcome to the live stream. You're gonna make millions off this? Well, we should all just try to make millions off this. But the thing is, though, right? Don't think so much as I'm gonna make millions and I'm gonna be, you know, buying Lambo, blah blah blah, all that crap. Try to think of it more as in this is something that we're gonna grow, but we're gonna start slow. We're gonna make our profits, and then we're gonna find the right coin to move it into, right? USDT. At the moment, I've got mine in there, but I'm thinking potentially we need to do more research. I started doing research on USDC and DAI, 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 right? Stable coins. I believe DAI is decentralized, medium risk. USDC is it's regulated, right? And Tether is not regulated. So we've got to be really careful in the future what we put our profits into. That's something that we should discuss further in the future. And I'm going to do more research and try to put more information on my website about that too. That's right. There's evidence everywhere. Welcome, Seven Sin. So price going to drop again, and well, 27 cents. That's where I'm buying here. I want my XLM to retire. Don't care about Lambo. Yeah, who cares about Lambo? You just showing off. Who cares? Right. I've got two kids, right? I don't want a third. You know, potentially, but at this stage, I'm more busy with the waves, right? How many coins? Welcome, Micro S. How many coins would you say a regular person needs to buy to be a millionaire in a year? Are 10,000 coins enough? Yeah, I'd say minimum 10,000. Well, when you say hodl long run, just be careful with that. If you follow me, you'll know that there's going to be an exit point, and then there's going to be a crash, and then you want to buy back in, and then you'll have more XLM, and then it's going to go for the real long bull run, and that's what we want. That's the whole point of this. We're very lucky to be in this situation right now. So let's be careful and let's be realistic and learn the waves. Yeah, USDT is a bit of a worry at the moment. I think it's going to be more of a worry in the future, more than now. So for now, you know, if you put your USDT back into XLM, okay, fair enough. But once you hit the targets, I probably wouldn't use USDT after that. So yeah, let's see what happens with that. And by the way, who doesn't print money these days? Yeah, exactly, CC. I'm the same. I'm the same. Yeah, there's so much that I could say on that subject, but that's true, very true. XRP will hit 589 this year, you reckon? Well, I reckon it's going down, so I don't know about that. So yeah, so if this is really a wave 3, we need to see it continue to move lower in a way that is impulsive. And so far, I can see that it's doing that, right? This is looking way more sharper than the first move, right? So that's important, right? Because that gives a clue that it's a wave 3, right? So I understand if you did buy this dip, but you forgot to understand what I told you, that we need to make a new low. It's part of the way how the waves work, right? That's the whole point. Go back through all my videos, my recent videos, and you'll see that I've been tracking every single wave since that crash happened back in, what was it, May 19 or something? No, it wasn't May 19. Yeah, it was around May 19, right? I started tracking it, got a bit confused around here, but then started looking at other charts, realized that this low didn't happen on certain charts, and then that gave me the clue. And then from then on, it was like, okay, we're looking for a D wave. I tracked the D wave pretty well, and then that E wave was weird. I've seen one of those E waves before. They're super funky. And now this is just the last move down. So it's just kind of like, whew, what a ride. What a ride this has been. But yeah, you could see that the psychology behind this has probably caused a lot of pain for people, because a lot of people don't know the waves, or they follow certain strategies which end up just basically wrecking them to the point where they lose faith. They either quit or they go look for someone else to copy and start looking at other people's videos, and you know, it never ends, right? So it's best to just learn how the waves work yourself. And that's why the way that I prove that I know what I'm talking about is through the videos. So if you go back through them, I put them in related ideas. You can go back, if you go to my profile, you can go back even further to see how we got here, etc. Sure, I've been wrong a few times, but the point is, if you want to buy, you're going to know when to buy. If you want to learn the waves yourself, you can margin trade. That's fine, but you should have a good amount of capital before you do that, right? So kind of in a way, this is like we're going to do this together. We're going to go on this journey together. We're going to build our capital, right, together. And then we're going to, you know, by then the community will be larger. And then we're just going to basically take it from there, make certain moves at certain times, try and capitalize on stable coins, etc. I'm going to do research on that. Stuff, other stuff that keeps you busy, right? You can follow the waves, but you should always be learning new things and, you know, growing your knowledge. I think that's more important than anything. So. Hi, Istria, Moody. Do I think it'll hit all-time highs by the end of the year? I'd say so. I wouldn't be surprised. Um, Not really. Micro West, when you're talking about blackouts, right? That would have to be like a global blackout, okay? Because you can't, you know, something that it depends. Like, I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be basically just part of the plan, right? It'll be GFC 2.0. That's what I keep saying. It's just going to be GFC 2.0. It's not a big deal. It'll be a black swan. It'll be the Great Reset. They're telling you what's going to happen. You just got to know when it's going to happen and capitalize off. So that's what we're going to do. Jose, welcome. The thing about what you're saying is, right, is that most people will actually buy at the top. So it's the liquidity will probably be there for you to get out anyway, because by the time it starts moving that high, you're going to get a bunch of people who are buying it. And that's for every buyer, there's a seller, right? Until the point where there is no more buyers. That's why you need to get out before the top, right? Not be greedy. I'd be getting out around potentially wave 4 of wave C, right? It's like basically you hit a target, and I'm going to do all that stuff. We're going to try and do this properly, right? You know, you can come along for the journey knowing the waves, or you can come along for the journey just watching my videos. I don't really care how you do it. But yeah, I wouldn't be trying to sell right at the top. That's probably a bit dangerous. But how will you know that it's the top? Well, you'll watch my videos, of course, but yeah, I wouldn't sell at the top. That's like me trying to catch this low. I don't want to do that. I want to get out at a point where I can see that, hey, that's good enough for me. And just, yeah, it's as simple as that, really. Like, it's complicated when you don't know much, but when you know roughly what's going on by learning, it becomes less complicated, right? So that's why I teach this stuff. I can't say it enough. It's why I teach it, right? Because you can't understand half the stuff that I'm trying to tell you on the chart unless you have the material to compare to it, right? It's just hard to explain, but yeah. I don't believe in rumors like blackouts, hacking, or that. I don't believe in it. All right. Of course, it happens sometimes, but usually you're dealing with companies with pretty shitty security. They're fraudulent to begin with. They're not very, like, you know, it's kind of like, what's the story with Bybit? You know, like, I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't use Bybit. No way. I use Binance myself. I believe that they're trustworthy. I started using Coinbase back in the day, but I just don't like their interface, and I believe their customer service is pretty dodgy. Not dodgy, but just very lengthy and not very helpful. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about stuff just because people, you hear about, oh, this could happen, that could happen, this could happen. Who cares? All right. If you're really worried, just move it off the exchange and put it into your wallet on your phone. Get two phones, right? You can have the same wallet on two phones, right? Put a good PIN number on it. What else? What else? It's the same thing as if you buy a Ledger Nano, right? It's the same thing, right? Or you think someone's going to hack your phone, right? If you think someone's going to hack your phone, then I mean, you know, someone could hack the exchange, someone could hack your phone, someone, you know, anything can happen. If you have negative thoughts, you'll attract negative things. How about you just be positive? Most likely nothing will happen. Yeah, buy a ledger, you'd be safe. Just don't lose your ledger or your pass keys, your password, phrase words, whatever you call it. The course normally 1,000 USD payable in XLM. Right now, it's 499 USD payable in XLM. So basically, just fill up the details on the website. Once we go through the NDA, non-disclosure agreement process, you get full access. So it's mainly just the details I get off you is mainly for the purpose of the NDA. Yeah, so once you get full access, then you can just email me. You can add me on Telegram. That sort of stuff. Oh yeah, you can put your. There's a lot of you can put a lot of different cryptos on Nano Ledger. Yeah. Good one, Adrian. Yeah, we all feel like we need to treat ourselves. If we do the work, we get the result. I understand what you're saying, but definitely two-factor authentication tech does give you a big peace of mind. I use like four factors, but I use every factor possible, right? Uh, yeah, it's good. It's good to have all that extra security, especially in the world we live in these days, where people just unfortunately they're not doing too well, so they need to find ways of uh, making money. So they basically target people online. It's just the way it is. It's always been that way, but it's getting worse these days, I reckon. Buy some gold, exit here, and bury it somewhere like in the old days. Yeah, you just write yourself a check and go bury the check. Probably better. Actually, no, don't do that. I wouldn't trust the bank. Don't trust the bank. I'm worried about selling. I have hardware wallets. Coinbase goes down during parabolic moves. I wouldn't trust it. Many can't use Binance ever since verification. Uh, hmm. Where do you live, Micro? Are you in the USA? Well, the parabolic moves, we're not going to be buying during the parabolic moves. We're going to be buying either just before, or you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be buying when probably most people won't be exactly buying. Like, let's just say, for example, we're in a wave 3 up. Something started moving up, shooting up. We'd probably already be in the move, right? Like, for example, if you buy at 27 cents here now, there's not going to be a problem doing that, right? But when it starts to shoot up and stuff like that, parabolic, if that's what you're worried about, we'll already be in it by then. You can try and scale in if you want. You can try and scale in. I'm not a financial advisor, right? You could wait until we break the wave 4 top before you buy in if you want. I don't care how you do it. I'm just telling you what I'm doing because I have my knowledge, right? But if you want to be extra careful, then hey, find ways of scaling in, right? Same thing on the way up. Find ways of scaling out. Parabolic move is when it just starts shooting up higher, like exponentially, like 2017 style, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you learn the waves, you realize that hodling is definitely a newbie thing to do. Hodling is good at when you buy it at the right time and then you hodl it until you have to sell it again. Now, when I say sell, I mean convert into a stable coin to protect your profits, right? You don't want to lose your profits. And then depending on what research you've done, you can use stable coins as another way to make money. There's many different ways to do it, but you need to do your research. You need to find out as much as you can. Find some reliable sources on education on these subjects, which is what I'm going to start doing soon. Especially once we hit this 27 mark, I'm going to start thinking about the future a little bit more. I have a trust wallet as well. That's basically that's the only one that I have. Yeah, yeah. You can stake your XLMs and your coins and that. D wave in brackets. Where is D in brackets? I'm not sure what you mean by that one. The only thing that's in brackets is ABC. XRP is not a stable coin. XRP it's actually just a crypto. Stable coin is like USDT, which is US dollar tether, USDC, and DAI. There could be others. I think there are others, but they're the main ones. I know, Jose. Trust me. I'm like, just do your thing. I mean, what are we waiting for here? Let's stop out all these margin traders and just provide us the liquidity we need to get in. Well, Adrian, it's all about the patterns, right? That's why I don't really bother analyzing any of these coins that don't have much data because I can't feel peace of mind with their history, let alone where they're going. They could easily just pump and dump like a penny stock, like a fraudulent zombie company, right? So yeah, XLM I believe in, XRP I believe in, but I won't buy it yet. There's a time and a place for everything. Let me just focus on XLM. Let's get this right, and then we can expand operations after that. But yeah, I just need to build this base first with the reputation, with people being happy with the course. My priority is just to get people to learn. Learning is the key. That's well, that's right, and that's what I think's happening here. This thing is slowly but surely getting ready to explode to the upside. And when I mean explode to the upside, I can't wait. I can't wait to see the kind of pattern D wave will make. I can't wait to see how D wave will unfold, how sharp the B wave will be. Sometimes B waves can be pretty sharp. So you have like like a zigzag pattern. The D might even look like part of the impulsive move to the upside because of the strength that could be potentially building up right now. So 3-wave correctional moves are labeled A, B, C in brackets. Yeah, basically, that's sort of part of it. just learn that you can try and figure it out. Yes, but there's so much. It's yeah. If you could figure it out just through the videos, I congratulate you. But it's a bit more complicated than that. Meme coins are making people rich for now. When will they get out? When it crashes, or they'll hold on because they're hodlers, and then it's like, okay, what game are we playing here? Sorry, are we in the casino, or are we in the investing slash trying to be a professional trader space here, or are we just playing Russian roulette with the coins? Put your coins, put your dodgy coin on the Russian roulette table, right? Yeah, there's a lot of news to talk about. I don't think XLM or XRP will replace fiat. I think that they are mainly geared towards replacing the infrastructure, right? In which like facilitate cross-border payments between different fiat currencies, right? So if you learn what XRP does, it's basically like very cheap to send people money from one country to another, right? Like XLM, right? So it's going to be it's like the middleman, right? But it's extremely cheap transaction costs that make it probably going to be the future, because it's people that don't want to pay high fees, right? Who wants to pay high fees? Nobody. You're just trying to make a transaction. Well, stablecoin is more safe, like USDT. For now, USDT is safe. For now, it's safe. But I'm doing my research into USDT, And if you have a look at George Gammon's explanation on Tether, check out his channel. He's very smart. He's taught me a lot about how the markets operate at a granular level. George Gammon. Basically, the way that Tether's set up is a little bit risky, in my opinion. As long as everything is going up, it's fine. But when there's a crash, I think that Tether could potentially be a problem. That's why I started investigating other coins that could potentially be a better solution than USDT. So have I checked out Fed now? No, but I will make a note of it. I always like investigating different things that people tell me, because you never know. People could be telling you something and you need to, and then if you just dismiss it, it's not a good idea, right? Yeah, so thank you for that. CC. Yeah. Yeah, USDC. I was thinking USDC. I always liked them, especially like, being on XLM, being on the Stellar network. They are regulated, so that one's on my list at the moment. My top, not like number one, sort of for the next time round. This time round, I'm not too worried. Yeah, yeah. That's the worry about USDT. There's a lot of yeah. Watch that George Gammon he video. He explains it in great detail. And it actually made me think, holy shit, that's not good. Yeah. Well, Tether. Yeah. Yeah, there's I don't know, like I just suggest you watch that video, because it explains it so much better than I could. Yeah, so we have to wait for the micro S. We have to wait for the B wave to complete, as I just explained it earlier, before we can get that crazy ass target that to you is completely insane, right? Don't worry. The thing that's going to make it completely insane is the people who drive up the price when it's basically way more expensive. Okay. Now, let me just give you a piece of advice here, right? In 2017, the A wave made about 15,000% gain. All right. So once we see the end of B wave, 15,000% gain is equal minimum expectation from B wave. That's around $160. In fact, I think it's a little bit more than 15,000%, but it's around that. So yeah, you can think it's crazy, but most people, they get in at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Like, if they see something doing that, they're going to push it higher, because they're going to see this thing going off. They're going to be losing their minds trying to get into it, right? And it's probably going to happen around a time when you're trying to get out of it. So they're going to provide the liquidity for you to get out. But you need to know when to get out, and that's obviously what I do. So well, that's right, Adrian. That's why I believe XRP, XLM they will replace Swift. In fact, they're running alongside each other right now, right? Because eventually it's like when you upgrade your server, right? You don't just upgrade your server, you run the new one alongside the old one until you have confirmed and tested and you have everything running in production on the new server before you cut off and retire, decommission the old server. It's the same thing. Yes, Jose, and that's basically all to do with the waves, human psychology. It was so early on that it was basically complete speculation, which is why I stayed away at that point, um, because I didn't understand the pattern. But obviously, at the moment, I understand the pattern more. So to me now, it doesn't matter where we're at. We can make money, right? It's just that before we're still producing RES wave, but yeah, it ended up being all part of just the waves that we're seeing now. And I finally got into cryptos once I started to see that there was that much history in the waves that I could actually use it to my advantage. And that's when I kicked in to high gear earlier this year. And that's when I created the bullish series and then really started to ramp up the XLM ideas and basically constantly update and basically even start live streaming and also do trading view ideas at the same time, because the whole reason why I'm doing live streams on YouTube now is because the link between posting on TradingView to YouTube automatically it stopped working, right? And I have a support ticket open. Unfortunately, TradingView support isn't really being very helpful. So I just want to keep it. I prefer to keep it going this way at the moment because people can see who is behind RS Wave, and they can also check out the TradingView profile, and then they can also see me talk about the waves, before and after the waves happen. So then they can sort of understand that, hey, this is not BS. This is not scammy fraudster BS, right? It's actually, producing results, right? So it's going to take time. No doubt. It has already taken time. It's taking a long time, right? But good things do take time. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. Adrian, RSR, yes, potentially, who knows? I will have to check it out, I suppose. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate it. Now, at this point in time, I just need to say thank you for tuning in. We need to see this wave 3 continue lower. Me buying at 27 cents is not financial advice. It's just what I'm going to do. You can choose to learn the waves. You can choose to follow. You can choose to do whatever you like. I'm just telling you what I'm doing so you know what's up. You know who I am now because I live stream. But yeah, I must say it's been great. Great talking to you guys. Hope to catch you again on the next one very shortly, very soon. And hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day or night, wherever you are, and catch you in the next one.